Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and as you can see, what's this? Champions League matches. It's Southampton versus Barcelona in the second leg, away leg, in my Master League series with Southampton. And of course, we won the first leg 2-0. Spoiler alert. Well, spoiler after, lol. And the goal scorers were Jovetic and Belhanda. And of course, we're going through the match 2-0 up, so pretty decent. But in this episode today, we have 3 matches for you as usual. Barcelona match, 2 in the Premier League, 1 against Everton, 1 against QPR. So of course, playing a relatively strong team as you'd expect, but considering we got beat by Stoke City in the end of the last episode, which was pretty bad. But again, it's all about having that Champions League hangover, and when you get back to the Champions League, you don't feel that hangover anymore. It's like alcohol. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy considering we beat Barcelona. They did sort of dominate in the second half of the game, considering they had more or less equal sort of shots, but we just sort of took our opportunities and they didn't really take them. So that's sort of an interesting sort of dynamic that we have to sort of, well, cope with. Of course, it's supposed to meant to be at the new camp, but of course, new camp does not exist in the game for whatever reason. So of course, here Barcelona have the likes of Ter Stegen, Vermaelen, Piqué, Montoya was playing right back, Alba, Busquets, Iniesta, Rakitic, Suarez, Neymar, and Lionel Messi. So yeah. Last time we defended really well against them. Can we defend as well against them again? I doubt it. Because of course we were playing the likes of Gardos, Badstuber, Clyne, Azpilicueta, Morgan Schneiderlin, J. Rodriguez, Campbell, Tadic, Belhanda, and Jovetic. I actually gave a rest to James Ward-Prowse in this match, considering that he was absolutely dead after the Stoke City match. So I gave him a rest, and I'll probably bring him on as a substitute because that's what I do with my players, like bringing on my players as substitutes because it's quite useful that way. But of course, Barcelona kicked off, and in the 5th minute of the match here, we get an opportunity. Well, we should have got an opportunity from that corner kick, as we see Joe Campbell here run all the way to literally do nothing. But Montoya picked up the ball, and this is the most ridiculous goal you will ever see me score from a mistake by the computer, which is hilarious. He long throws into his own box. It comes to Jovetic, and he just volleys into the back of the net. And when I scored this goal, I was like, what the hell? Like, come on. I felt so cheap for scoring it, but I was like, well, the game just gave it to me. Like, come on. But in the 38th minute of the match, Messi on the ball gets it from Gardos, comes out, and comes to Neymar. Neymar just pings it into the back of the net, past Fraser Forster to make it 1-0 in the first half, and we basically equalised. And I was like, well, it's not too bad. We're still 3-1 up on aggregate. Not too bad in that case anyway. And it comes to it, and at half time it was 1-1, which was a pretty decent result. Again, I don't remember why Badstuber's my captain. I think I just made him captain because Morgan Schneiderlin didn't play my last game or some rubbish like that. But in the 64th minute, having brought in James Ward-Prowse as a substitute, runs down his left hand side, pings it into the bottom corner, well, the right hand side, running left, pings it in the bottom corner. James Ward-Prowse, ladies and gentlemen, he's just the best goddamn player I've ever played with. Because he's on form as well, he's on that peak form of where he could potentially become the next big thing, sort of thing. So 75th minute of the match, Luis Suarez throwing goal. Gardos makes an absolutely amazing challenge, and then Badstuber just decides to, loiter as he does. And literally, that was about it. It comes up to the last minutes of the match here as we see Jovetic running past a couple players, gets a finesse shot away, and he misses really badly. But who cares? We won 2-1 away to the new camp. It's like the first team to win there since Liverpool beat them, I think, ages ago, I think. I'm sure it was the last team to beat Barcelona was Liverpool in the new camp, which is just crazy, really. But beat them. James Ward-Prowse would be a substitute, actually ended up being the man of the match with 7.5 rating. As you see there, Chelsea went through, AC Milan went through, PSG went through, Bayern Munich went through, Schalke went through, Real Madrid went through, and FC Zenit St. Petersburg went through. So in the quarterfinal round, we basically get matched against Chelsea, which is quite a pain, but we can beat Chelsea. And the other matches like PSG and Schalke and Real Madrid and someone, and Bayern Munich and someone. But as we see here in the game against Everton, James Ward-Prowse has actually gone up by about 4 overall points, which is pretty decent, while Nathaniel Clyne is still sitting at 82, but he will of course go up eventually by the time of, well, I think by the end of this match, I think he goes up to something ridiculously high, as you will see in a moment. But of course, game against Everton. Everton are quite a hard opposition, and of course we're coming off a Champions League game, so we've got another Champions League hangover to deal with. But of course we're playing a very ridiculously strong side, considering that QPR is the last game of this episode, and QPR, I can beat them with like 11 youth players. So going up against Everton, and Everton of course having Romelu Lukaku up front, who I might be tempted to buy if I stay at Southampton, because I think he could potentially complement Jay Rodriguez and Jovetic very, very nicely. But as you see here, 0-0, well, from the kickoff as you expect. And about 20 minutes into the match, Jovetic on the ball runs past Daniel Van Buiten, who for some reason signed for, I don't know if he's a regen or if he's actually the real one, but he signed for Everton. And as we see, well, you must have seen it, Jovetic actually hit the post with a pretty nice cracking strike. And from that opportunity with Joel Campbell here, it actually went up for a goal kick for a throw-in. Comes to James Ward-Prowse, gets an opportunity, and again it goes out for another throw-in, which for some reason I decided to try and finesse shot with James Ward-Prowse. Don't know what he was doing there, but literally about with 2 minutes added on, comes out again to James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse this time tries another finesse shot, and it comes to nothing, and again literally nothing comes to nothing. I don't know why I kept that in. It was really, really unnecessary. But of course, 0-0 at half time, which is a alright result. Again, we had 0-0 at half time against Stoke City, and we ended up getting beat 3-1 as the final score. So hey ho. But again, this time we actually had 6 shots, 1 on target, which is pretty decent. Could have potentially have maybe done better with the terms of on target, but who knows about that. But coming about 10 minutes into the second half here, Belhanda gets played for a goal by Jovetic. Belhanda, as he is, just pings at the back of the net with his outside of his right foot to make it 1-0 to us. And again, he's keeping himself on form. Likes of James Ward-Prowse to sort of died down a little bit, but again, James Ward-Prowse here, as we see on the 71st minute of the match, runs past a couple of players, gets a shot away, and as I say that he's dying down a bit, he just pings it in the back of the net to make it 2-0 to us, which is a really good result. So 2-0 to us in the 71st minute of the match. Coming to the last minutes of the match here, Stephen Pienaar scores what must be considered the best goal I've ever conceded by the opposition, by the computer anyway, as he runs past about 3 or 4 of my players to pop it in the back of the net to make it 2-1 in literally the last minutes of the match, and literally nothing comes of it. I make a pretty decent challenge here with Gardos, and get quite fortunate actually with that challenge, considering that could have really taken him out and gotten a red card. But there's James Ward-Prowse, he's clapping. Of course, he was the difference today. Well, his goal was the difference today. Gnabry had come on as a substitute, and as we see there now, well, in the final thing, it was 11 shots, 4 on target. Pretty decent result in terms of that. So 2-1 win against Everton, and into the final match of this episode, and it is against Queen's Park Rangers. Now, Queen's Park Rangers have the likes of Vargas up front, Eiler, Krankiar, Hoylett, Much, Tarapt, Leroy Fair. As you see there, Nathaniel Clyne is now rated 86. He's gone up by 4 points as well. My god. And he's only like 23 years old. It's just ridiculous. I just love this game so much when it actually tells you that like they're actually doing like better stuff like that. It sort of adds to it. Like, of course, it allows you to be like, well, you should play him a bit more because of this. And one of the things I liked with this, I've sort of started doing as well with my formation, was playing Jovetic as a centre forward. He did a really good job against Barcelona, of course, scoring, well, he scored 2 goals. And I sort of changed up a bit instead of playing I didn't play informed Graziano Pella there, which says a lot, considering how good Graziano Pella actually is. So, of course, a game against QPR, another game away from home for us, which isn't really too much of an issue for me because I like playing away from home. And in the 27th minute of the match here, James Ward-Prowse on the ball, runs past Rio Ferdinand, he just doesn't exist, runs past Leroy Fair as well, gets a shot away, and it's a really good save from the goalkeeper. And literally, this first half was the most boring first half I've ever played. As we see here, James Ward-Prowse gets the ball from a really good tackle from Cesar Azpilicueta, runs past tries to run past Adel Taarabt, who for some reason is playing centre defence midfield, and 0-0 was the half-time result. So 0-0 at half-time. Again, the Champions League hangover hasn't hit us yet, but again, we're going to have to come up and play a Champions League game against Chelsea, which is always going to be quite hard to do. But about 5 minutes into the second half here, Nico Kranjčar should have scored. Unfortunately for me, he hits it off the post after a mistake by Holger Badstuber. But about 2 minutes from that, basically 2 minutes from that, Jovetic runs past a couple of players, does a roulette spin, and he just finesses it into the bottom corner to make it 1-0 to basically holds back Holger Badstuber's tears if it had happened, really, basically, if Badstuber's just so goddamn bad. Well, I'm just really bad with him. But in the 75th minute of the match here, Nathaniel Clyne gets sent off for that dreadful challenge in the second one. For some reason, Badstuber got away with just completely hacking him like a bloody hatchet. But I don't know what's going on there. But literally in the last minutes of the match here, Jay Rodriguez plays through Shane Long. Shane Long just decides to take the opportunity which comes to him. He's not played too many games this season, but when he does play, he does do pretty decent, scoring goals every once in a while. Might actually have to start playing him a bit more. As he goes off and celebrates, Jay Rodriguez jumps on him. I mean, it's quite nice to see. the likes of Shane Long scoring goals for me, considering I've not played him that much, and well, I played him quite a lot in the first season, to be fair, but in the second season not really too much. Jovetic has sort of taken his spot, as well as Joel Campbell. But the final score was 2-0 to us, which is pretty good, and we'll see the final table in, well, the table at the end of this episode, or after these 2 matches or whatever. J. Rodriguez got man of the match, 6.5 rating, pretty good. So as we see there, Manchester United beat Swansea, Arsenal beat Leicester, it's what you expect, and we're still 4 points behind Arsenal, and 1 point clear of Manchester City, and 10 points clear of Liverpool. Boom. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe my channel for more, and catch you later.